What's up guys, Brian from AntScapes. In today's video we've got that animal room tour. A lot of you have been requesting it, but first thing I need to do in here is I need to get cleaned up, make it more presentable. In the next video I will be having a more broke down video where I'll be showing you all of the terrariums and like the progress on them and things like that. But as always from me, peace and love, I'm out. So first things first, let's get this cleaned up. You can see the RUGINODIS tank on the right, my rack on the right there as well, and on the left is a Trapjaw Island Pallidarium, and then just to the side of that is the giant African Millipede tank, which is a tank we're going to start with. I'm just showing some pics here which are essentially over time when it was first built to now. Unfortunately them branches have broken down, decomposed, which I knew would happen anyway, but I can just add some more. And yeah, I mean, you'll see what it looks like now, but it's changed a lot, as you can see. Now these parlor palms are going insane. I need to start to maybe consider getting some height on this tank. By that, I maybe just can build like a box lid that's vertical, which just gives them like a nicer, or like a canopy. I just then worry that the African Millipedes will climb it, and I don't think they can, but it is a very thick plant and it's going really, really well. Okay, so the first one is the giant African Millipede tank. As you can see, it definitely doesn't look like how it used to. A lot of the pieces of wood ended up breaking down, decomposing, snapping, etc. So there's only a few left. I think there's about 4 in total. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well done, Ryan, you can count. So yeah, I'll explain what's happened with the moss. So obviously this had a thick carpet of moss here before, which is all the way around. Now some has stayed, which is great, and it's grown, it's perfect. However, where you can see where they've dug these tunnels going around in these areas, towards the backs and everything, all those areas are now missing the moss, because obviously, as you can see here, where the arch goes, it's starting to disappear. Which is absolutely fine. It's only good that they're using it to the full advantage. But this tank is about 9 months old, 10 months old. But either way, this is the first tank. It's going brilliant. I've had an absolute journey with this tank. You know, in a sense that it's been fantastic. Keeping them has been awesome. The plant growth has been great. The ivies, Hedera, what I did do is I'm starting to pin these down, so you'll probably notice that at first they were very tall. They started to grow upwards to the light, but what I've been doing over time is slowly pinning them down, you know, like these ones are starting to wrap around the twigs because I'm sort of manipulating them that way. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how this tank looks in like another year's time, or even this, you know, by summertime, because this in particular, I just know it's going to be a jungle and it's going to look epic. And you know, we'll see what happens with it. I may add even more giant African Millipedes. And to the people who were wondering, you know, about native diseases, things like that, that you know potentially could have came from the soil I was using, no problems. I've had no problems at all with this. So if you are wondering, yeah, go out, collect some soil yourself for free, and it is just the best medium for these giant African Millipedes. And you can actually tell just by how much they're digging out and cutting through. Yeah, I love this tank and I love keeping these giant African Millipedes. And this is the lid. So it was just corrugated plastic. I'd cut to size, drilled some holes in there, drilled some holes in the middle, and it's been perfect. The light weighs it down so the plants can't push it up, millipedes can't push it up, and job is a good one. And now we're going through the photos and stages of the Trapjaw Island Mountain Pallidarium. As you can see, each time it just seems to get bigger and bigger, the growth, but it has been doing really well. So yeah, I do really like this tank so far. It's probably still my favorite tank that I've got, and obviously Trapjaw, as you'll know, is my absolute dream species. So to me, this is just one of my favorite tanks. It has to be my favorite. Maybe he's matching with my RUGINODIS one, but that's just because of how many things I've actually got in there. But anyway, we'll get on with this, and I'll show you some footage development on the colony itself. And then my Trapjaw Island Mountain Pallidarium. This obviously was based on the sea stacks idea. Now, I'll show you this in like a little bit up closer. So, all the plants have been going really well. Honestly, out of all the tanks, I think this one visually is probably my favourite one, just because of how nice I think it looks. Again, I've now added some umbrella plants here, so we can see these coming through, so they'll start going high up in the canopy, which is great because I added these in so I can then hang the lights, which will look sick. We've got some Swiss cheese here as well. The only thing I have to keep in mind is I have to keep it away from the glass or over the tank. As you can see, it's going to start going a lot larger. But yeah, this tank has been honestly awesome. I absolutely love this tank. We've obviously got some aquarium life in here. We've got those 2 giant armoured fan shrimp. We've got around 25 neon tetras, a few guppies, and some cherry barbs, which obviously the first fish I added to this one. So I am really, really, really happy with this tank. It has gone real well. The only thing maybe as I wish I did was maybe it's had a different choice of plants, just so it wasn't as boof in your face. But I really like that. And I know it's, you know, each to their own, but for example, I'll show you here. Right now you've got this sort of misty, and there you can see how well all of those roots are right through that middle area round to the back. So for me, at least I know those roots in that water system are going to be making this water even better for the fish, which is exactly what we need. To be honest, again, there's not a huge amount to go over with this one, because at the moment everything's still growing, everything's still going in terms of development on the colony. I now do have around, well, I actually don't really know with it being a natural cell, but I know I definitely have at least 6+ Trapjaw workers, potentially a little bit more, but I added these in around June, July time. I can't remember when, but finally got them, added them in, and yeah, they're doing really well. If you haven't watched the live streams I'm doing at the moment, then I do switch between the RUGINODIS tank, this tank, and my Chromatogaster Scrotularis tank. So if you are wanting to watch those, these ants hunt live, then great, watch that video, you'll love it, or you'll love these, sorry. On the live stream itself, I do drop in on an evening around or just after 9:30, and I'll be there until 2 in the morning, normally with Wakushi and a few other people, and Singland, Sadie, but yeah, Juarez, Gecko, there's a lot of us anyway. Just get involved. You know, it really is great to have a nice community where we all go in every night and have a little chat and a catch up. So yeah, this tank, love this tank. In terms of maintenance as well, it's pretty easy. I just top the water up every 2 days, water change weekly, and plant trimmings, I can just take them off with my fingertips like so, plant these on, more trimmings, and yeah. Okay, so I am very glad my new additions are actually not out at the moment, because this is going to be like a surprise video that I'm going to be dropping when I'm showing what inhabitants I got for this. But as you can see, plant growth itself is going super good. Mosaic plant is going off right now. These plants are, the ficus, everything, it really is just going good. These are starting to get new stems coming up, so hopefully that'll obviously start to crawl up there. These things, some mosses towards the front didn't do the best, but obviously as you can see, the mosses everywhere else generally did really well. River section, everything, I absolutely love this tank. I won't go over this one too much because I'm scared that I'm going to ruin obviously the surprise, but just to sort of show how well everything is doing in terms of moss. If you look or take a look at this, I'm just using these to keep some humidity in at the moment. You can see there's literally moss coming out of the lid in all areas, not just in that corner, this corner as well, you know, the middles. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. So I'm super glad it's all going really well, and the reason I'm letting it grow like that or out for now is because I know that I can literally just get some scissors and chop it straight off and reuse that moss, which is going to be awesome. So I can reuse that moss, but this is going fantastic. But that is enough of that one, because I do not want to ruin the surprise. So let's just end that there. And here we have the Chromatogaster Scrotularis tank. This one has been, again, a journey. I've loved keeping this species. My feeder broke, hence why that's happened, so don't worry about it. But yeah, everything in this tank's going awesome. The actual ants themselves are booming, still booming in population. The animal room's fairly warm. Plants are doing great. Aloe vera's got new growth. These ones have got new growth. Even down the bottom here, so that's flowering, that air plant. So that is really, really cool to see. And it's absolutely beautiful as well. One of them cactuses died though, as you can see. The other one's doing class, but that one, nope, has seen better days, we'll say. But yeah, this colony has had me through the wars. And when I say through the wars, I mean it. So I was fighting ants off in my kitchen for about 3-4 weeks after, and I don't know if you've seen the update. I've literally named it I Had a Disaster. They were, in the kitchen for like 4 weeks, constantly having to get them, put them in here. And then what happened after that was they moved in fine, everything was going great, and then suddenly I got some parasitic mites, which luckily I keep my own tub of dragonfly mites, predatory mites, so I just added them. But for maybe a day or two, I was getting seriously worried about these ladies, and to the point where, watching it was like heart-wrenching. It was horrible. But I did add the dragonfly predatory mites and they were fine. And luckily I keep tubs of them because of anything like that, just in case it happens. I'd rather act fast, especially with parasitic species. They tend to constantly out-boom the ants, and they will suddenly take over to the point where the colony will die. It can actually happen sometimes within a few weeks. So yeah, luckily I had my predatory mites on hand, put them in, gone now. So yeah, these ladies have been through an adventure. They've definitely kept me on my toes. A few things I made mistakes on with them, but other than that, they're just going really, really, really well, and I can't wait for them to keep expanding and booming in population. Here, literally just got my Camponotus largemperda, Camponotus nicorabensis, and then 2 Niger colonies, and then this is just my feeder tub, some spare tubs. You never can have enough tubs. A pipette and a blade, obviously, and some random black thing. But yeah, this is what this is. We'll look at the largemperda. I haven't looked at them for a little bit, and we'll check out maybe it's one of the Nigers or something. But yeah, we'll do that. And down here, a little bit more messy. You can see on the bottom rack, I've just got spare stuff, materials. These are 2 future builds, but I'm not going to let you know what they're for. But I do have 2 spare tanks here, which I still need to build. This is a 60, so 2 foot, and that's a 45. Decent one in this one. So I am super excited super excited to get started. And for now, it's just housing foods. So yeah. But this is my Camponotus largemperda colony. We'll take a look at it here. As you can see, I have added isopods, and I have added a little bit of substrate, some springtails in there. Now they actually are doing really well in the breeding, but what's important is what's inside here. Now, I did put the nest in the outworld. Reason being is as you can see, they've used that sponge there on the right, on the left side, sorry, and then put it to the right, and started to create like, even when it was in tubing into the outworld, they started to block it off. So I thought, well, I may as well put them in the outworld like that, and then they can forage, etc., etc. And it ended up working out a lot better. So I am glad that I put them in here and did it that way. The good thing is keeping humidity in there now is better, and I can just put some drops in where that sponge used to be, and it stays there and just pulls in. But they've got nice amount of brood, huge pupae now, almost ready, and I am super excited to get this colony going. I think once we're past about 20 workers, I think we're almost there. We will start to see a massive increase in colony growth, and I have noticed that there's lots of clusters of eggs, and at first they were going very slow, but now they're doing really, really good. Now I won't go into too much detail about this area because all of these tanks will be updated very shortly. These tanks here are all potential new ones. Another cube there, another tank at the very back you can see. All of these are the isopod tubs, different species. Again, what I will be doing is going through every individual SP in a video very, very soon, and I will be updating that. And again, you know, I'm going to start something new on here, which is the terrarium episodes. Every single Wednesday I'll be building something in one of these terrariums, but all of them at the moment are on this huge rack at the top, including the isopods. But yeah, isopods behind the plants, new builds, projects that are already here. I took the light off, and the reason I took the light off is because I don't want you to actually see what the builds themselves in too much detail, because again, those are going to be like, you know, the yearly updates on them, and I don't want you to see the development on those so much yet. But just know that there's a lot of things across this which are potential new builds and new videos, so super excited for that. Now this tank has been epic. I absolutely love this tank. It was the first tank on this channel made. I remember now, back then when I didn't know how to edit, I mean I still don't, but you know, it's come a long way. We're now at 3 species of ants. We've got RUGINODIS in here. We have got Temnothorax and Leptothorax. We have stick insects and the breeding. There's little babies in here too. We've got morning geckos. As you can see, Alfred's stealing the show, absolutely posing here. We've got Alfred, the green and golden bellfrog. 8 species of isopods, beetles, mites, you know, slugs. Name it. It's probably in here, but no, there's a lot in here. I've even got a praying mantis. Yeah, I am really happy with the setup, and the newest addition is Alfred, our green and golden bellfrog. I do feed him. I don't know if he knows it's me who feeds him. Maybe I hope he does. I mean, I'd like to think that. But he was in a tiny enclosure where he was at, like literally a 20cm cube, no water, and the first thing he did was jump in the water section, literally like his life depended on it. So yeah, he's absolutely beautiful. But this tank is just, you know, I'm so happy with it. The RUGINODIS are now actually expanding. So this side of the tank, now what I'll do is I'll try and get an angle on it here if I can. But you can see them all there, pulled up. That's where they've expanded the nest. You can see all of that soil shifted. They took 2 queens there in total. So it was really good to see some queens. You rarely see them in natural setups. So for me, I think that's only twice it's happened now. And the first time it happened, I posted it on my Instagram. So yeah, honestly, I'm so happy with this tank. There's a lot of changes it's gone through, a lot of things that have happened, and I'm really glad it is where it is. The plants are still going well. You know, the water area is still working great, and you know, everything's just getting along so good. I mean, the Alfred, he's probably the hungriest of them all. Got a nice little pot belly there, but the newest addition, I guess, and you know, he really brings it to life. He has some character, as well as everything else that's in here though. I even now add crickets in here, which is something I normally would never do because they will try and eat some ants, but that's for his benefit. So, oh, just had a little leap there, that was cool. But yeah, so it's mainly for Alfred's benefit. I know he will eat them, and he will eat live things, so we'll see what he does. But yeah, I love this tank, and to be honest, I think I've said that through every single one. I tend to just, as you can tell, off the cuff, tell you about the tank. But I am really enjoying what I'm doing. I love you all. You know, like I say, it's been over a year now, and I think a few of you are asking for an update. Again, the terrarium episodes, they're going to start soon, and if you haven't joined the live stream yet, make sure you jump into the live stream, even if it's just a chat. It's more like well, I guess it is more like a chat room. We get so many people in there chatting every single night. Different people, new people join, so it really has been good, and I do get some guests on now and then. If I'm just saying, like, you know, who wants to join and chat away, because you know, it is sometimes boring just study it, talking with that on the camera, so it'd be good to get some more people in there. But join if you haven't, and you know, I love you all. Thank you very much for supporting me. We are here now, and like I say, it's a full year. I actually can't believe it. It's been a full year of this tank. I'm doing that because the live's going. Yeah, so cool. Really happy, and you guys have made it even, well, all the more special for me. So thank you.